My name is Ciarán MacAirt and I am the grandson of John and Kathleen Irvine. On the cold night of 4th of December 1971, British extremists of the Ulster Volunteer Force bombed McGurk's bar. McGurk's bar was a family-run bar that had been passed from father to son, and Mr. and Mrs. McGurk were renowned for their intolerance of bigotry and prejudice because the family home was in the rooms upstairs. So they ran not only a well-run pub, but also an establishment that was fitting for the rearing of their own children. And naturally, the people inside the bar reflected this. The people in the bar that night were the sort of people of the North Belfast community who were more interested in a punt or a pint rather than the sectarian politics of the day. My grandfather and grandmother were no different. My grandparents were enjoying a quiet drink with old friends, Edward and Sarah Keenan, in the bar that night. Looking across the bar and into the main lounge, my grandmother would have recognised every single one of the customers who sat around talking or reading a paper. Robert Spotswood and James Smith had taken up their usual seats along the bar. Further along, Thomas McLaughlin, Thomas Kane. Behind them, Philip Gary, who even at 73 kept himself busy as a school crossing patrolman, was having a quiet pint. And near to him, Francis Bradley and David Milligan were relaxing after labouring week long in the docks. Edward Kane was entertaining his friend Roderick McCorley, an 80-year-old Mr. Griffin with lively chat over a quick drink before heading home to his young family. As the customers in the downstairs bar enjoyed a quiet pint and reading the newspaper, upstairs at that time, the McGurk boys and a few of their friends were having a raucous game of table football. At that time, John Colton, Mr. McGurk's brother-in-law, was getting ready to help out his brother-in-law in the bar below, whilst unbeknownst to everybody, Mrs. McGurk and the McGurk's only daughter, Maria, returned home from confession in St. Patrick's Church. A car had drawn up beside McGurk's, and a man in a long overcoat and a mask had got out, taken a bomb, 50 pounds of gelignite, over to the doorway of the pub and lit the fuse. A young witness saw this and went to warn a man who had just turned the corner, and this man too attests to the fact that the young lad had saved his life. £50 of gelignite ripped through the bar and brought the roof down on all the customers and the family members within. The local community emptied onto the streets, and with emergency services clawed at broken debris and bricks and mortar, trying to save their neighbours. Only for their toil that night, another dozen would have died. Kitty, as their family and friends called her, was one of 15 innocent civilians who was killed that night. Luckily, my grandfather John escaped with his life, although other members in that part of the bar died around him. The bomb attack was carried out by pro-state loyalists. Nevertheless, despite a gamut of evidence, including witnesses that saw the bomb being planted, and before all of our family members had been named, the police, the state and its security forces had put it in file. They said that it was a Republican bomb in transit and that was due to go off elsewhere but exploded prematurely. So the people inside the bar that night were not only despoiled of their lives but also their good name. They criminalised innocent civilians. The McGurk's bar bombing at that time in 1971 would have ripped the heart out of the local community. At that time there was a conflagration across the whole of the northeast with the ongoing conflict. At that time it was the single greatest loss of civilian life in any murderous attack since the Nazi Blitz of Belfast, and yet our family members became the forgotten victims of a dirty war. Because if the finger of blame had been pointed at pro-state loyalists, then internment, which at that time was the major policy decision from government, would have had to be rolled out and include them. Unfortunately, at that time, there was absolutely no police investigation. Any leads that pointed the finger of blame at pro-state loyalists were simply not followed. Even a car that had been left close by and the killers escaped in another clean car had disappeared. As soon as that bomb went off, our campaign for truth started. So for 2 generations now, our family members have campaigned tirelessly and relentlessly for the truth. It's been left to the likes of myself and other family members and our great friends in the Pat Finucane Centre and the British Irish Rights Watch for ourselves to source the truth. So we've had to spend much of our time engaging with politicians, engaging with investigators, and finding for the facts and the archives for ourselves in public records and through the likes of freedom of information. They have campaigned against a monolith of intransigence and state lies. Unfortunately, it's a campaign that continues to this very day.